There I was, 3 AM in New Zealand, waiting for the RX 9070 XT to launch. To my surprise, there was a decent amount of stock, from what I can see, at least for New Zealand, and a range of options. The problem was the price. Let's have a look at what's happened to the pricing, and it doesn't seem like this is only for New Zealand. It seems that people overseas are also facing this issue, such as in Europe, but America seems to be doing a little bit better. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I just want to go over my experience, especially in New Zealand, because this is where I live, with the pricing with the RX 9070 XT. I wish the next RX 9070 XT video was actually me with a actual card and purchasing it and putting it in my PC, but unfortunately I think pricing is just going to push me out a little bit, although I did expect this pricing from these cards, at least in New Zealand, in my country. Let's have a look at this first card here. So this is the Powercolor Red Devil RX 9070 XT. Now this is the highest end card that you can get from Powercolor besides the limited edition one. I mean, there's no difference between the two in terms of spec as far as I know. The limited edition one costs $50 New Zealand more. So this one here is 1499. Now in US dollars, just to make everything a little bit easier, that costs $856.56 US. So quite a bit above the MSRP, and it's not an MSRP card, I get that. Kind of makes sense, but quite a bit expensive. So 1.5 is kind of what I expected, but at the same time it kind of shocked me a little bit. So keep in mind, this is one of the higher end cards. Let's have a look at another example. So one of the other retailers in New Zealand is called Computer Lounge, and let's see how much stock they had at release. Yeah, they had nothing. So all of their cards are on back order. They literally had no cards. As far as I know, in New Zealand, the only retailer who had stock was PBTech, and they're out of stock. I'll show you guys in just a second. But yeah, it doesn't seem like much stock actually came to New Zealand. Let's take another example from Computer Lounge. So this one's on back order. I did call them up. They said probably about mid to late March they should be getting their cards. So it says here on their website March 23rd. So this card is 1,599 New Zealand dollars, $100 more than the other one. Let's see how much that is in the US dollars. $100 more, 913 US dollars. As you can see, a little bit of a problem, because this XFX Mercury should be around about the same performance as this Powercolor Red Devil. Of course, it's a different AIB, I understand that, but if you know what I'm saying, they should be like almost comparable cards, but that one costs almost $100 more. And I did call up PBTech, and the representative said from the call center, as far as they know, they're not getting any XFX cards. So a little bit disappointing there. Now, let's go into PBTech's whole stock. Now, I believe some of them are missing here because they went out of stock, but at 3 AM, I think they had 1 or 2 more options from memory. But as we can see here, the cheapest one is $1,319, the Sapphire Pulse. Now, that's out of stock as well. Literally, all of them are out of stock. Ships 28th of April, ships May 12th. You know, even this one that costs 619 New Zealand dollars is out of stock. In any case, the cheapest one here, 1,319 New Zealand dollars. In US dollars, that costs $753.58 US as of today. So the exchange rate to New Zealand is not great. I know that. It is what it is. So let's have a look at like relative pricing. Like what can we think about what this pricing is in New Zealand? Is it fair? Is it not fair? In my personal opinion, it's not fair, but I guess in terms of pricing, not many things are fair in New Zealand. But let's have a look on the calculator. So let's bring it up. So let's just say that we're gonna work in New Zealand dollars just to make it easier for myself. So let's just take 600 US dollars, the MSRP. That's 1,050 New Zealand dollars. Okay, cool. 1,050. We got that on the reps. Let's say it costs $100. I know this is probably a bit extreme, but let's just say for an individual unit, it's going to cost 100 New Zealand dollars to bring it into New Zealand. See how much that is. So now we're at 1,150. Now let's times that by our GST in New Zealand, which is goods and services tax, or VAT overseas, which is 15%. So times it by 1.15. What do we get? $1,322.50. So it is actually kind of comparable to the 1,319 that we got for the cheapest card here. But the problem is, I don't know how much profit they're making off this card. I don't know if they've jacked the price up deliberately in order to make more, or it seems about correct when I actually think about it. My first initial reaction was, wow, that's nearly $153 over the MSRP. So I believe, let's just check. So 1,319, yeah, is $753 US. So $153 over the MSRP. Now here in New Zealand, probably not gonna get the MSRP, which is a bit disappointing. But $153 US over is quite a bit. So unfortunate that we live in such a small country, but this is not just my feeling. People in other countries have also been feeling this, especially in Europe, I believe, and America seems to have it okay. So let's just have a look through what we have. So just one more example from New Zealand, just because we don't have that many PC retailers. The other one is Extreme PC, and they don't have stock at the moment, but they might get stock. And this pricing I don't think is exactly confirmed yet. So this one's the ASRock RX 9070 XT that they have listed for $1,598.99. Don't know if that's final or not. They did say that they'll have stock coming in later on. But as for stock between these three retailers, probably in my opinion the three major retailers in New Zealand, only one had stock of the 9070 XT. Now I don't know if that's a problem in New Zealand or overseas. Let me know in the comments if that's happened in your country. But it does seem we were a little bit low in stock, or a lot of people bought them in a very short amount of time from PBTech. I don't really know how many PBTech had, but at 3 a.m. there were cards selling out, so that's saying something. Even, for example, let's just go back here. I believe the Sapphire Nitro Plus, this one had a little bit of funny pricing. So I just want to bring this up real quick, because when I was looking at it, I believe it was anywhere between 1,115 to 1,125 or 1,119, like around about that price point. Then I saw someone in my comments, they mentioned that the price they paid for a back order one was 1,534. And as you can see now, the price is 1,549. So the price seems to be going up as well, and that's a little bit disappointing, because also on VideoCardz.com I saw an article saying that retailers confirm that the RX 9070 MSRP only applies to the first shipments. So there have been reports that AMD are giving the retailers a rebate of like $50 US to bring the price down. I'm not sure if that's exactly confirmed. There's some sort of rebate going on with them, but I'm not exactly sure what it is. So disappointing, but it does seem that only a couple of these cards will be closer to MSRP, even the lower end models. So a bit disappointing. I just wanted to bring this up quickly. In the US, they have a couple of cards here that are at $599. So the MSRP from Microcenter, which they're lucky to have if they have a Microcenter around them. And then I just want to compare this card here at the bottom, I believe, where is it? The Sapphire 9070 XT Nitro Plus. So this is $779 US. That's 1,365 New Zealand dollars. That same card in New Zealand is $1,549. So this is the same card. It's just more expensive in New Zealand by quite a bit. So just have a look. So let's just take this price here. 1,549. So it's nearly $184 more. So that's quite a bit. Let's just check here. So let's see. It is my guess though as well, in New Zealand we have to add GST as well as shipping, so it kind of does make sense for that price. It's just a little bit disappointing that this card is literally $184 New Zealand cheaper than it is in New Zealand for the same card. But I guess they're kind of blessed with Microcenter in the US as well as some other retailers, so I guess they get more options than we do. But it's just a bit sad that New Zealand doesn't get much, and some parts of the other world also doesn't get much. But I guess it is what it is. A bit disappointing. Now, I have been looking on Twitter as well, just to see what general thoughts are about this card. I can see Hardware Unbox gave a pretty good tweet thread here. I just want to read a few things here. So it says here, just to be clear, it's normal for cards to sell out fast at launch, especially when reviews are positive. This card had so much hype. It was good price, MSRP. The reviews were decent. I mean, it was a good launch. So it says here, there are a few unusual things here, though we're going to stay on top of it, and AMD, Nvidia could be accountable, which is great. Huge price gulf between MSRP and non-MSRP cards is questionable. This shouldn't be the case at launch. A fairly basic OC card should not be so expensive. Fair enough, I agree. Applies to both AMD and Nvidia. Reports of promo pricing / listed time deals for MSRP cards. Some retailers are claiming that AMD are doing this, which AMD has denied. We'll see. And it seems like resupplies being largely the most expensive models to avoid selling at MSRP definitely applies to Nvidia. Wait to see for AMD. So we'll have to see if the prices go up for the new models when they come out again, because we're out of stock in New Zealand as well. We'll see if the price increases for these same cards. That seems MSRP that only applies in the US and aren't real in other regions, e.g. Europe. We can clearly see that in New Zealand. It kind of makes sense though with the pricing, with the GST and the shipping, although we use a kind of an extreme shipping price. And it says continued lack of MSRP supply. I agree, we didn't have that many cards. Hope AMD can avoid this, but a big issue for Nvidia and even Intel. So Hardware Unbox goes on from that as well. He says tons of supply for the 9070 XT, but a minuscule fraction of that is MSRP. We smell a fake MSRP, and as usual, consumers are the victims. I have to agree with that, because in my personal experience from that, there weren't that many available for MSRP. I wasn't really looking to pick up one of the lower end ones in any case, but it is disappointing for the people that wanted a really good card at that true MSRP cost. And it seems that it says here AMD and AIBs probably could have gotten away with it if non-MSRP cards were slightly 5 to 10% above the MSRP, which is normal, but the next step up is 20% premium, which is ridiculous. So that is true. When we jump from 1319 on the base model in New Zealand, the cheapest one, where is it? Just over here. And when we go up to something like the higher end models, like 1499, that kind of seems a bit expensive. And I'm sure in other countries it's even worse. But I guess New Zealand is not that great either. So just some tweets from other people on Twitter as well. I mean, they seem to have the same sentiment, that the stock does seem to be a little bit low in some places, and it's no longer a possibility to buy the MSRP price, unfortunately. And then as well, this guy as well here says in the UK, I mean, from the screenshot that he's taken of these cards, the cheapest one here is the Pulse again. Here is £570. And if I convert that, we'll just add the 0.99 on, it is $734 US. Now I just want to convert that to New Zealand dollars because it's a little bit easier for me to understand. So even in the UK, they got their one for £570, which is 285 New Zealand dollars, and that's a 34 New Zealand dollar difference between the one that we can buy in New Zealand. So our one is 1,319 New Zealand dollars. So I mean, I don't know about their tax system, but I just searched it up quickly. It says they have a 20% VAT rate, but I guess it's just that purchasing power parity between the countries might have just drawn the short straw in New Zealand. I just wanted to make this video because I was a little bit disappointed on pricing in terms of even the MSRP card availability. Just didn't seem that there was many options in New Zealand, and it seems that besides the US, a lot of places are also facing the same thing. I haven't kept up with what was going on in Australia as well, but I'd be happy to see that as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments as well. What's happening in your region? If you're from Asia, if you're from Europe, if you're from the Middle East, if you're from Africa, anywhere, please let me know. I'm really excited to find out what's happening with the MSRP of this card, because I was pretty happy to see it launch, and especially with the performance that we got. and that the MSRP price of $600 that they kept talking about. So that about sums it up. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you go and check out wisetech.org for some more awesome content. But other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.